Yokai, a single word for oh so many different creatures and spirits in Japanese folklore. My personal first experience and what led to the intrigue on the topic was a series known as Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan. It was centered around a boy that was one quarter yokai and was destined to become the third heir to the Nura clan, a reference to the Nura region, a yokai who is said to be the supreme commander of yokai and the leader of Hyaki Yagyo or Hyaki Yako, the night parade of 100 demons, a procession that was said to be a terrifying eruption of the supernatural into the real world. But we can go deeper into that in another video. Now let's get into detail on the creatures behind some of our guest models. Our first topic is the Oni, one of the fiercest and most demonic and possibly the most iconic yokai, was known as the Oni, which can roughly be translated to demon or ogre. They are often said to be seen depicted as having red or blue skins with one or two horns sometimes growing from their heads and large fang-like teeth. And most are said to wear loincloths of animal pelts and wield large clubs known as kanabo. Though predominantly male, there have been few female, and sometimes they even appear in colors such as black and yellow. These superhuman creatures are said to be reincarnations of humans who have done foul deeds, and that follows into their monstrous reincarnations, as they have a propensity for heavy drinking, cannibalism, and even murder. One of the most well-known and fiercest leaders of the Oni, being known as Shuten Doji, or the Little Drunkard. Not this one, though. This monstrous man. Although Oni can now often be seen as kind-hearted and just in characters like Aratagi Ito from Genshin Impact, Shuten was known as the dreaded king of the Oni, earning that right as he often left paths of drunken carnage in his wake. However, Shuten wasn't always this way. Although stories may vary on his birthplace and location, he was said to have been born to a human mother and the great dragon Yamata no Orochi. He is also said to be the inspiration for characters such as Kaido from One Piece, and his story would later connect to other notable figures in mythos, such as Ibaraki Doji. Again, not this one. This one. And he is also said to have been defeated by the legendary Minamoto no Raiko. Not this one. This one. I promise they're different. Ironically, like I said, all three of these legends being represented in series like Fate Grand Order. But if you want to learn more about Shuten and the connection in Fate Go, I dropped a video below you might want to check out. Or leave a comment if you want me to do a deeper dive. Now our next guest is a Tengu. They're another legendary yokai known as the Heavenly Dog, oddly enough, even though they're represented in bird-like forms, and they are rooted deeply into Shinto beliefs, sometimes even being depicted as gods or demigods. The Tengu are represented in two different types: Dai Tengu, or the Great Tengu, and Karasu Tengu, or Ko Tengu, as the Lesser Tengu. Dai Tengu are represented as the more humanoid of the two, often shown with a red face and large nose. They are seen wearing robes with their large wings sticking out and holding large fans, which are said to help them control the winds, as we'll go over later on. They are often found deep in the woods, but some legends, such as the legendary Tengu Sojobo, lived in mountains or controlled mountain tops. These demigods are known to be extremely skilled in swordplay, control over the wind, and of course flight, because what are those wings there for? And Sojobo is even said to have trained the legendary Ushiwakamaru, who later became known as the legendary samurai Minamoto no Yoshitsune. Ironically enough, another character displayed in the Fate series. And these legendary creatures were known to create war and natural disasters. However, the Karasu Tengu or the Ko Tengu don't have as deep of a story, as they are opposite, being more animal presenting, often appearing in the forms of birds of prey, and known as the servants and messengers of the Dai Tengu. However, they're still known to eat humans, so I wouldn't mess with them. But before we get to our final creature, here is a segment from somebody who knows a little bit more than I do about yokai and wants to share some of their personal favorites.
My personal favorite yokai are Inugami and Nurikabe for very opposite reasons. Inugami are the result of very cruel methods of creating a shikigami, or protection spirit. It's said that ancient Japanese families would bury their pet guard dog in the ground, leaving just the head above ground. Then they would starve it, placing food just out of its reach. While it stretches its neck, a man would cut off its head with a sharp blade. Starving the dog would create a sense of unfulfillment, causing the ghost to be unable to leave the earthly realm, and the innate loyalty of the dog would make it remain to protect the family as usual. This created the protective dog spirit named Inugami. Very sad. On the opposite side of the spectrum is Nurikabe, probably the funniest yokai that exists. It's an invisible wall that often appears in dark spaces at night, and it's slimy. That's it, a slimy wall. When a traveler comes across it, they can't walk around it because it will stretch on forever, and they can't climb over it either. Its only purpose is to be a hindrance and causes travelers to veer off path. I love it. Asshole wall. I have many more notable favorites, but I'll save those for later.
Now, finally, we will talk about the Komainu. They're kind of up in the air. They're referenced as yokai at times, but not entirely. But Komainu have actually popped up in a lot of modern media, whether it be just popping up outside of an Asian restaurant, or even in popular games and anime, such as my little pal down here. Komainu were featured very early on, with references in characters like Growlithe and Arcanine, a Pokemon who was meant to be a pseudo-legendary dog, and even got a makeover recently to be closer to its Komainu roots, adding the rock type on. They also appeared in series known as Spectrobes, something that I know that a lot of people might not have. Yokai Watch, which seems to be taken over lately. Toho, and even appearances recently in the Wano arc of One Piece, or their early references appearing in popular Marvel movies like Shang-Chi. Their originations can be very convoluted, though, as they have been said to be a reference to Chinese guardian lions. But that may have come from trade with the Middle East and India with the pelts of Asiatic lions. But maybe we'll dig deeper on those stories at a later date. The existence of Komainu, however, in Japanese culture, started in the Edo period, with the Komainu being placed at the avenues of approach or entrances to shrines or holy sites. These powerful creatures are often seen with varying sizes and appearances, but with prominent features such as thick curly manes and tails, powerful muscular bodies, sharp teeth and claws, and sometimes even with horns on their head. It is also said that they are often male and female pairs, with one having its mouth open and one closed to represent an un, or yin and yang. These creatures, however, are not known to be overly active unless the sites they are protecting are being attacked by evil entities, where it is said they will free themselves from their stone forms. But with that, we've reached the end, so stay tuned to learn more about some of my guests and their references from yokai lore in the next episode of Hungry for Knowledge. And make sure to drop your comments below on any creatures you'd like me to do a deep dive on, or just sub because that would be cool too. See you later, guys.